What's good, everyone? This is Marcus the Fingers back with another video, and in this video we're going to talk all about the sounds from beyond from the Red Room Audio team. Before we get into that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, the Sampleist, here on YouTube for more great videos like the one you are about to watch. And although the library was provided at no charge from the great team over at Red Room Audio, they have not had a chance to review our video, and that will not affect our judgment on the video. So let's get into it. Sounds from Beyond is the second chapter in the Sounds From series from Red Room Audio. It is great sound design for sci-fi, action, suspense, and otherworldly genres. It does require the full version of Contact 6.7.1 or higher. It includes over 1,500 samples housed in 9 themed instruments, including collisions, dreamscapes, evolutions, implosions, interferences, launches and landings, movements, rumbles, and voices. It also includes the forward and reverse wave files that we can use to drag and drop in our DAW with ease. It has an intuitive GUI. The patches can fit a 49 key keyboard, and we can trigger samples in a 3-octave range. So if you have a small keyboard that you travel with, perfect for that. 36 sounds per instrument, with the exception of voices, which includes 42 different sound banks, which we'll get to how to navigate that shortly. And you have over 10 gigabytes of spacey sounds. And at the time of this recording, the price for Sounds From Beyond from Red Room Audio is discounted from $99 to $79, and you can get an additional $10 off for each additional Sounds From library you own. Since this is the second one, if you own the first one, you can get an additional $10 off. So that would bring the total price at the time of this recording down to $69 with all the discounts. So let's get into the plugin itself. Here I am in Logic, and I'm just going to play this sound out of the box, starting with the collisions. And as you can see, the 3 octaves down here in the key range in the the native access instrument, or the native instrument. And as I'm playing the different sounds, notice up here what's changing. It tells you the key I'm playing and also the sound of the sample that's being played. So this is Airplosion. So right away, you can get in there and start using these sound design elements from these different banks. We will go through an overview of some of these sounds and samples from each of the 9 instruments during the playthrough in a few moments. Before we get into that, let's talk about the plugin itself. We're going to start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. At the top of this instance of collisions, we have volume, pan. We're going to skip over this part for a second, and we have pitch and speed. The volume, of course, will be the volume of the instrument, all the way down to up to 0. Pan will be left and right. Hopefully you can hear that if you have stereo headphones or stereo speakers. Pitch, we can adjust the pitch of the samples. I'm going to hit another note now, and if you notice, the pitch has not changed for the other note. So this is only changing the pitch of the one note that you're hitting. So if you need that to match the pitch of a song you're working in. And then speed. You can slow down and speed up all the way to from 50 to 200%. So let's put that back at 100. And in the middle here, as we showed earlier, you have the name of the instrument or the sample that you're playing, the key that that sample is assigned to. And this little button here, I believe it's like a fire emoji or fire thing there. That is what you can use to favorite. So if I want to make this a favorite, I can click that, and you see that it turns yellow on the keyboard. And now every time I load this collisions pack, it will save that preset as one of my favorites as a favorite. To deselect the preset, just click that again, and it will deselect that. And you can have, as you can see, a number of favorites. So if you wanted to, you could favorite all of them, but then that just would be redundant. So let me unfavorite these. Below that, we have sound. So this is showing the way that you can manipulate the sound. And next to that, we have rhythm. So that will change what is contextually here in the middle of the plugin. And you can have different rhythm parameters set. We will get to that shortly. With sound, you have start and end. So you can adjust the start point of the sample. So let's bring the end in right here. The start and end points of the sample are locked to note division. So as you can see, as I'm adjusting, these are going by note divisions depending on the tempo you have set in your DAW. And also we have these two little buttons here. So this button that is lit up in this case will allow you to reverse the sample. So if I play this E1, if I hit this again, it will reverse the sample. And that immediately doubles the value of the plugin because you can reverse the samples and have a whole totally different sound, and you can also adjust the start and end of the reverse sample to create sort of a whoosh sound. Some patches in Sounds from Beyond have this land on beat option. If I click that, you see that glowing there, and when activated, that will allow the playback to end on the beat. So I'm going to play this again. Let's adjust the end. If I had the tempo going or beat playing, you would hear the end of the sample align with the beat. So that's a great way to align certain samples and sound effects so that they end right on the beat, so you don't have to move things around or adjust the MIDI data in your DAW. Below the section here where you can adjust the sound or rhythm, you have the filter options. So we have a cutoff and resonance filters. So I'm going to adjust that. We can have a low pass all the way up. Then we have the resonance. So you can dial in specific sounds there. We have your ADSR envelope. So we have attack. You can do like a fade in, decay. You have sustain and release. And then you can also adjust the depth of the ADSR envelope. And these three little buttons let you know that you have some options you can also choose from, where you can save, load, copy, paste. You can apply to all. You can reset the current and reset all. Next to that, we have a gator. So we can turn the gator on, and this can be connected to your sync, to your tempo by clicking the sync option. So I'm going to hold this note. And you can start to design some pulses and things with the plugin. Let me turn the rate to 16th notes. Let's reverse this, and let's bring the start up a little bit. And you can start to see how you can use the power of this simple and intuitive UI to start designing sound elements, sound effects, things like that with the plugin. And you can adjust the depth, which is sort of like a mix knob, if you want to think of it that way, but you can adjust the depth of the gator options that you've set here. If you don't have the sync selected, you can just adjust by hertz. So two great ways to have a gator effect there. And the gate option is also automatable, so you can assign parameters to automate that. All right, let's jump over to, we will get to a demo shortly. I'm going to see one that has green keys, so we're jumping over to Dreamscape. If you notice at the top of the Dreamscapes, let me just play what we have going on here. I'm not going to play through the whole sample. So you look at the top now, you see we have volume, pan, and instead of pitch and speed, we have octave now. So if I hold this down, I can go down 1 octave or up an octave. So I can adjust the octave of what is playing in this particular plugin or this particular NKI of Dreamscapes. And you also have the green keys, which is the root note of the sample that's being played. So if I play this G, and let's say the sample, the light atmosphere sample that's played right now is tuned to C, but let's say my song is in D, I can change the green key to D and the note will change if you listen now. So in this particular plugin instance and the ones that are similar to this, the green keys will sort of act as your pitch knob that we saw in the collisions NKI. So instead of using pitch here, you can adjust the keys and the root note using the green keys down here. All right, let's jump over to the rhythm tab. This is how you can build rhythmic elements using the volume, the pan, the pitch, and cutoff step adjustments. You can also randomize things using the dice. You know I love randomized functions. You can reset the settings. You have global adjustments, and you also have more parameters here where you can save the rhythms, load it, copy it, paste it, copy different tables, and things like that. Let's just work with the volume here. We're going to sync this to our tempo, 8th note. And let's just do some fun stuff. Actually, let's hit the dice. Let's actually do a little bit more 16th. And you can have so much fun with this. Let's go to pan now. And we want to make sure that the text is selected to see that grid up top there. And then we'll use the dice to adjust different pan things. We'll turn off the volume. Let's go to pitch, random. And you can really start to see the power of this plugin where you can have random, like alien-like sounds coming with the pitch randomization. And then finally we have cutoff, random that. Let's turn all these on. Oh, actually, I didn't turn pitch off. Let me do just cutoff alone. And you can see with cutoff selected, it's adjusting the cutoff right here. And you see that thing dancing. Dancing or doing what it does. Let's turn all these on with all these random parameters that we just set. And yeah, so I just created a totally different sound there. You have 8 steps. I think you can go down to 1 step all the way up to 30. Ooh, even more. 40. Oops. All the way up to, is it 64? All the way up to 64. So you can have 1 step up to 64 steps. And if I hit random now, let's turn off the cutoff. So again, you can have a lot of fun with this, and I can reset the volume. If you make sure the pan, one thing to keep in mind is when I hit reset, that will only reset what is selected here in the grid. And with the global parameters, I can select that, and then I can do that type of thing, and go back here. Let's do that type of thing. So that is the rhythm section. I'm going to turn these off for now, and let's hear what sound we have. I'm going to hit C1 here, or C2. And now that is everything in this plugin. Like I said, very powerful. A lot of stuff packed into just one screen here. Really 1.5 screens if you want to count jumping over to sound and rhythm, between sound and rhythm. So I'm going to play this sample, the green star. We're going to jump over to the effects rack just to let you know that it is here. I'm not going to dive too much into the effects rack other than to say you have some presets you can load up. You can add nearly 30 studio quality effects. You can chain them together. You can have separate racks. Each module will have adjustable parameters and randomization buttons that you can choose. Let me just load up some presets. Let's see. Do we have any? I don't know if I loaded up any here. We're going to go to, these are all presets that come with the plugin itself. So I'm going to just open up Van 51. And as you can see, what's loaded up there, Van 51, cabinet delay, convolution, reverb, it looks like. Then you can adjust the different settings there for each of the plugins. So if I select the delay, I can adjust the settings down here for that. If I have a cabinet, I can adjust that. Let's go to load another one. Let's go to ambient phaser double twang. And if I wanted, I could add more here, click on the empty, and you can choose between all these different options for effects here. And I can tweak those parameters as needed. So let's say I wanted to add jump. And that would be there. And of course, we can load up to 5 more racks and also have a master effects rack. So that is very convenient. I want to clear this. Let's see, reset. And that'll reset everything. But that is the effects rack. You can dive in there. It has a couple presets, as you saw, that you can load up there for the effects racks. So there is a lot going on here in the plugin itself. Just to give you an overview of what each of the 9 instruments are, we have collisions, which I showed earlier. The collisions is like the impact type sound. So I'm going to play a couple of those. We have dreamscapes, which to me sounds more like pods, but they're pads, not pods. Massive soundscapes. Again, you can use those green keys to adjust the key, but I'm going to play one of those. I just played 2 of them. But again, I'm going to do the playthrough shortly where you're going to hear these sounds by themselves without me talking over them. We have evolutions, which you haven't heard yet. These are long, unusual, evolving ambiances, which are great for underscore. Again, we'll play more of those shortly. We also have implosion. I didn't know why I said it like that. Implosions, which are like suckbacks, reverses, the sounds of planets crumbling, according to Red Room Audio. But I'm going to play one of those here. And remember, if you don't like that backwards, you can play it forwards. So you have that fun thing going on. Next, we have interferences, which are long samples. They have electronic sounds in nature. They have some glitchy elements, reminiscent of alien signals from space. Yep, sounds quite alien to me. Again, we'll get to those shortly. Then we have launches and landings. I like to think of launches and landings like rises or risers and downers, acceleration, deceleration, whooshes type sounds. So I'm going to play one of those. So like a whoosh type, rise type sound. We'll get to more of those shortly. Then we have what's called movements. Movements are rhythmic melodic throbs. They are tempo synced to the project, and they are great for adding pace and rhythm. And as you can see, we also have the green keys down there to determine the pitch. In this case, we have volume, pan, octave, and speed at the top. So when you are choosing these different options, make sure you're looking at the plugin so you know what options you have and knobs you can tweak to adjust the sound and parameters. Again, we will get to more of those shortly. Then we have rumbles, which are super low impacts. Some of these have electronic overtones, so let's play a couple of those. I like to think of some of those as like booms that you can use that start like a cinematic piece. So those are rumbles. And last but not least, this category is a little different only in the way that you would navigate to the sounds. These are voices, and you have 40 choir and pad style multi-sampled instruments, each more strange than the last. You can use the drop down option up here to choose the different patches, which are playable across the keyboard in this range here of these 49 keys. So I'm going to play Asteroid Storm as if like a keyboard player. Play through one more. Again, we'll play through more during the playthrough. This is Flares of Methodical Chaos. And let's say I don't want that release as long. You can see I can bring that down. Maybe I want it a little bit more of a release. And you can hear the sound is doing some panning type things. And I'm noticing that the sample, you'll see the little bar play across the sample only if you play all the notes at the same time. So I'm going to play all these notes at the same time. As soon as I play another note, the line will stop moving. It looks like if I'm doing legato notes, if I'm holding down the notes and playing from one to the next without letting go of the last one, the line will not move. But if I play the notes totally separate by letting the note, letting go of the note fully, then the line will move. Just something I'm noticing as I'm going through the plugin. All right, now I'm going to mute the microphone. We're going to play through a couple of sounds, and we're going to start here with voices because we already have voices loaded up. So I'm going to play through a couple of sounds from the different instruments. So here we go. So that is just playing through a couple of the samples from each of the different, the 9 instruments that we get from Sounds from Beyond. The problem with doing those reviews is like I'm hearing them play back and I'm trying to take a mental note because there's a lot of things. I had like a lot of ideas, a lot of directions you can go with these sounds. And if you were paying attention, some of the sounds, if you remember that I changed some of the settings, some of them I had reverse chosen and things like that. I had the adjusted the start and end points. It saved those settings when I went back to those. So remember, if you're making a change to an instrument, it will save those settings that you made to that instrument, at least in the session that you're working on. So definitely keep that in mind. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to a demo that I've created featuring Sounds from Beyond from Red Room Audio. Here we go. So that is the demo that I created featuring Sounds from Beyond from Red Room Audio. The sounds that I use from Sounds from Beyond are all shaded in yellow up here. I'm going to play through just the sort of the beginning part here so you can hear what's happening at the intro here. And I think you start to hear everything that I have going on from these Sounds from Beyond packs. We're going to start from the top and work our way down. Starting with collisions. I have this going on. This doesn't come in until what I'm calling the Act 1 after the intro, but this is something that comes in. The first 2 tracks here are, actually it comes in at the beginning here. I think they're different octaves, so I bounced them to audio so that I can do some more manipulating, and this is what that's doing, sort of like a blip sound. And then here's the other one. I also have them slightly panned left and right so you can get a little bit of separation there. Then we have Dreamscapes. This only comes in at the intro here. It's sort of like a pad type drone type sound. To set the mode for the track there. Then we have Evolutions. I didn't actually make note of the exact sound I'm using, so sorry there, but this is what's happening from the Evolutions side. It starts to sound like a lot of sonar, like water type things going on. This is actually going to be a trailerization that I'm going to do, so I got to bring the vocals in and edit that. But I was building the track around the key and the tempo of the trailerization, so you might hear this on a trailer track soon, or at least on a trailerization. Then I have this what is this, impact, I think, or implosions. Sort of like a suck back or reversed whoosh type thing. Then we have these interferences happening every once in a while. You see that throughout the track, playing this. And I added some effects from the plugin itself, from the rack, just to give it some width, some delay, some reverb, push it back in the mix a little bit. But it's almost like a signature sound, even though it happens probably way more often than a signature sound would in a trailer track. But it is what it is. This one, landings, and what is it? Launches and landings. I'm using this as a as a riser. Sort of like a riser / whoosh hit without the big hit, but I do have some hits layered from some other sounds there. Then we have movements coming in. Act 1 here, it sort of fades in, but this is doing like a bass pulse type thing. And that's all it's really doing throughout the track. I probably should keep that mono. It is in stereo right now, just to save up some of those side energy for some of those other tracks. I might bounce that to audio and do that. Then we have rumbles. I'm using this as a boom type sound, just like a low percussion rumble type thing. Here at the beginning. Then we have one here in the middle, sort of at the first drop. I think I'm layering it with another boom. There's a lot of actual reverb type things there. Then it's at the very, very end, after everything plays and you get the climax of the track. And then you have sort of that outro, that fake outro, then the outro. And then we have this thing just to cap off the track. And then last but not least, we have voices. This is only at the beginning. This is setting the chords that I was just playing as I was playing them in. The track is in F minor, and this is what I have playing at the, I'm going to play it from this Act 1 part right here. So it's playing 4 chords there, but it's really stretched out across that whole act there, and that sets the tone for what we'll be playing those chords later, and the brass and the strings later in the track. So I'm going to play through just the ending part, starting from Act 3 here, just the sounds from beyond sounds, and then I'll bring in the rest towards the end of the track. Here we go. So that is Sounds from Beyond from Red Room Audio, the second chapter in the Sounds from series from Red Room Audio. Again, you're getting 1,500 samples. It does require contact full 6.7.1 or higher. You're getting 36 sounds. The voices have 42 sounds within them, 36 per patch in the 9 patches. So whatever that math is, 9 times 36, in addition to the 42 that comes with voices, over 10 gigabytes of spacey sounds, clocking in at $79 at a discounted price from $99 right now. I don't know how long that sale is happening, but either way, it's a great deal, and you can get an additional $10 off if you have the other sounds from plugin from Red Room Audio, and you can get an additional $10 off if you have the other sounds from series from Red Room Audio. So definitely check it out. And also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, The Sampleist, here on YouTube, for more great videos like this one. And we will see you in the next video. All right. Peace.